Over the past several months, I have received multiple letters from the Atkinson Law Firm on behalf of Henderson Economic Development Director Bret Gardella, accusing me of defamation and attempting to strong arm me into silence, demanding that I cease speaking, retract statements, issue a public apology, resign as county chair, and pay $5 million in damages. Let that sink in. $5 million. Because a private citizen dared to ask questions about how taxpayer money is being spent? Let me be absolutely clear. Calling on our city council to provide oversight of HEDCO is not defamation. It is their legal responsibility. Under Texas law, city council serves as the checks and balance to economic development corporations. When concerns arise about spending, transparency, or compliance with state law, citizens not only have the right, but the duty to ask questions and demand accountability. And that is exactly what I did. This entire issue began when the mural project exposed HEDCO to public scrutiny. Citizens started asking very simple and valid questions: who approved this and how? From there, I began reviewing publicly available information, budgets, and records, just as any engaged taxpayer should. And what I found raised serious concerns. For example, there were legitimate questions about vendor relationships and financial oversight, including payments made to individuals and entities with documented issues, such as tax forfeiture status at the time of engagement. These are not personal attacks, these are matters of public record and fiscal responsibility. There were also concerns tied to prior development projects. In Baytown, a developer associated with a golf course was issued a notice of default by the city of Baytown and subsequently filed for bankruptcy. That same individual was hired to do business in Henderson, operating under a different LLC, and was paid with taxpayer funds for marketing, logo design, and website services, while that entity was in tax forfeiture status. To be clear, this is the same developer, the same individual, connected across both cities. That raises obvious, reasonable questions about vetting, due diligence, and oversight when public money is involved. And yet, somehow, the expectation is silence. At no point was this about defaming anyone. It has always been about transparency, accountability, and ensuring that taxpayer dollars are handled responsibly. I also want to address another point. Texas Local Government Code 505.352 clearly gives citizens the right to petition for an election to dissolve an economic development corporation. This is not a threat, it's not extreme, it's the law. It exists for one reason: when oversight fails, the people step in. And let's be honest, no one wanted to get to that point. From the beginning, the ask was simple: put guardrails on HEDCO, ensure compliance with the law, and provide real oversight. Nothing more, nothing unreasonable, and nothing extreme. City Council had and still has the authority to do exactly that. Despite the accusations made against me, I have not spoken publicly about HEDCO since September 2025. No action has been taken against Mr. Gardella. He's not on leave. He's not been terminated, nothing. In fact, the demand letter was not sent until February 2026, months after I'd already stopped speaking on the issue. That fact alone undercuts the narrative that my speech caused any measurable harm. This appears to be more about intimidation after the fact rather than harm. What has happened is a citizen spoke up, asked questions, and demanded accountability, and was met with a legal shakedown, demanding silence, retraction, a forced public apology, resignation from an unpaid volunteer position, and payment of $5 million. This should alarm every single person in this community. The message is clear: ask questions and you'll be punished for it. This is how lawfare works. It is designed to intimidate, to silence, and to discourage others from speaking out. It's about pressure and making the cost of speaking out so high that people decide it's safer to stay quiet. Well, that might work on some people, but it won't work on me. I do not surrender my constitutional rights to free speech or to petition my government simply because someone in power is uncomfortable with public scrutiny and their feelings are hurt. I will not issue a false apology for asking legitimate questions on behalf of taxpayers, and I will not stop advocating for transparency and accountability in our local government. And that raises another very important question that deserves an answer. Are taxpayers footing the bill for this legal intimidation? Or is Mr. Gardella paying for it out of his own pocket? Because if public funds are being used to silence public scrutiny, this is a whole new level of abuse of the very taxpayers this system is supposed to serve. At the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about whether citizens are still allowed to question their government without facing retaliation. It's about whether transparency is real or just a talking point. And it's about a fundamental principle that should never be up for debate. Government answers to the people, not the other way around. And the people of this community deserve to know what is happening behind the scenes.